you. Welcome to the City of Miami Commission meeting for February 20, I don't even know what day, what is it? 26? 27. 27. That's how wonderful a month I am having. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Yes, we are going to begin with our recognition portion of the meeting. I'm going to turn the mic over to our city manager.
Good morning, everyone. And you know, it's not, I think, human nature to want to start off a meeting on what in essence is a little bit of a down note, but I felt it was important ahead of the meeting beginning and certainly you know, ahead of the invocation and you know, that we pay a little bit of respect and acknowledge we lost 4 employees within about a 2-week period. Untimely, unexpected, and I wanted to do a small little tribute to them in a moment of silence ahead of our invocation, really just to honor those employees. I mean, they range from a 30-year employee that worked in the law department all the way to somebody who'd been with us only 9 months. But I really wanted to take a moment, acknowledge them, acknowledge their service to the city, express our condolences to their family members. I think we have a few here, and just say we're incredibly sorry for the loss, but it's a loss to the entire City of Miami family and our coworkers. And we have a very short video recognizing each and every one of them, the role they played, the vital role they played with the city, and also their time that they had spent with us. So, Kenya, if you could play that, please. Do we have any family members here? Anybody that passed? I know we have a couple of those employees who have family and or extended family that still work with the city, so our thoughts and prayers are certainly with them. So if we could just get everybody bow their heads for a short while and just kind of do your own reflective acknowledgement and any, you know, incredible memories you may have had of working with each and every one of them. You know, kind of focus in on those and the positives, and our prayers go out to them and obviously their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. And that is a testament to this thing we call life and how precious it is. And we don't know from one day to the next who will be with us and who won't. We should always love one another. And we take that for granted. We take this thing called life for granted. We take for granted that you'll wake up tomorrow and all is well. And that is just not the reality for a lot of people. So extend my condolences to the families, because that leaves a place in your heart forever when you lose someone you love. We are going to recognize our Fit City Challenge winners. I initiated, when I became commissioner, a Fit City Challenge because I appreciate that a healthy family is a productive family. So I encourage us to be healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually. And you see that in everything that I do. When I got elected, I started having a pastor come and pray for each meeting. I'm a big proponent of mental health and physical health. I ran the Miami Marathon, the half marathon, this month. And the Fit City Challenge encourages our employees to get fit. And as a result of their extraordinary fitness efforts, we reward them. There are prizes, there's challenges that they've done, and a healthy bit of competition between the departments. All of the departments participated, and we want to recognize some of the winners. Dorian Gibson. And I'm going to say what department he represents. Grants. He's from Grants. Lilia, L-E-I-V-A. I don't want to mess up your last name. Here, pass it to Lilia when she comes. Paula, M-A-Z-E-R. Yay. Jasmine Medina. Raul Ramos. Diana Del Rio. Anna Walker. I left out a piece of Anna's name. D-I-M-Y Bueno. What a great last name. And this represents our Aneris, thank you. This represents our top winners for the Fit City Challenge. Everyone, just because I stopped saying it, tell your department.
Police Department.
Police.
Grants Administration.
Grant.
Human Resource.
Human Resources.
Police.
Police.
Building.
Building.
Building department.
Building.
Police.
Police.
City Attorney.
City Attorney's Office. Every department participated. The mayor's office and I put this together. I pray that it outlives me and we continue to do Fit City Challenge for our employees every year, because when you are healthy, you do a better job at serving the community. So thank you guys, and you will all be receiving the awards, which ranged, by the way, from a cruise to tickets to Ultra to Blue something. There are a whole bunch of cool prizes that everyone is receiving. So thank you guys again. Oh, wait, they want to take a picture. I'm sorry. And now we have a special recognition for the first female Deputy City Manager, Ms. Natasha Colebrook Williams. She is amazing. And I know she didn't know that they were doing this, because she would have said, don't you dare, don't you dare. She is fantastic. She's my friend. And
she is probably, if I know, gotten to know Natasha very well, if she could crawl underneath the front of this and hide, she would, by the way, but we're not going to let her off that easy. She is literally my right arm, my left arm. She's not only an incredible asset to the city of Miami in general, she is a friend. She is generally one of the most sincere, honest people I know. People generally tend to gravitate towards her because of, just how wonderful a person she is. And she does it every day. There's people that have bad days, people that, don't, that struggle sometimes, like we all do, with just being consistent. Everything about Natasha is consistent. Everything. And it's a credit to her personality. She has a great support group too. A lot of family, a lot of sisters. And so we all generally love her. So happy for this acknowledgement. I think, in terms of what the future brings for her, and her role at the city, I think is there's no ceiling to that. And so I couldn't be happier and more proud that we kept it from you more than anything else, and that you didn't know what was happening, because you would have found a way to disappear somewhere in the back or show up late. Inevitably, you would have figured out a way to try to avoid this at all costs. So we love you, and that's not just talk. That's generally how we all feel, and you deserve it. So you're welcome. Anybody else want to toast roaster?
No, well, the manager's right. Consistency is great, but she also brings a calmness to her that helps us all stay calm during circumstances. She's very supportive and always thoughtful, and she feeds me, which is really good because it's really important. Yes, I know. But we love her very much, and we really appreciate how level-headed she is, her intelligence, her background, her experience, how she just keeps a cool, calm, collective demeanor, which is so important for all of us. So really appreciate you.
Well, I am blessed to be surrounded by, like people like her, because in my role, we succeed when we are, surrounded by people of your caliber. So for that, I'm thankful.
All right, and then I got to give Larry a shot, because of all the people that are standing up here, the one person that has known Natasha longer and better is Mr. Spring. So I got to let you.
This is a esteemed pleasure. So allegedly, when we first worked here together at City of Miami, I tried to fire her. Allegedly, she was on a list. Fast forward, Natasha was my chief of staff and served as an ACM when I was city manager in North Miami. I'm the one who recommended her to Art, and now she's my boss. And so it is a pleasure. It's been a pleasure for the last over decade working with her directly. As you said, she is steady, she is consistent, and she is auntie. So, get yourself in orders. But I'm glad they shocked you. That's why they didn't tell me. But you certainly deserve this, so congratulations.
she deserves this and so much more. I had to pass the mic to Art because I felt myself getting choked up like I was going to start to cry to say how wonderful she is. And she is that. She's fair. She's stern when she needs to be, but she's not mean-spirited. And I think that's the most important thing, because you can be stern, you can get the job done, but it doesn't have to be in a mean way. She makes everyone feel valued, and that is a gift. That is a gift. When you can put aside your ego for the betterment of the whole, and that's what she does every day. So congratulations. I think we are going to have one big group photo for our staff, our executive team for Black History. I'm going to highlight the folks who are doing things wonderfully for this city as we celebrate Black History Month. Okay. Hello, hello. Everyone, come on through, come on through. Not necessarily. Okay, and I'm going to have each one of them introduce themselves. I'm going to start with myself. I am Christine King, the first Black woman to chair the City of Miami Commission in its 128 years.
Good morning. I am Assistant Chief Chiquita Thomas Butler for the City of Miami.
Good morning, everyone. Assistant Fire Chief Stephen Carroll, City of Miami Fire Department.
Good morning. My name is Tishria Mendengal. I'm Executive Director of the Civil Service Board.
Good morning. Kevin Jones, Deputy City Attorney.
Good morning again. Larry Spring, Chief Financial Officer, Assistant City Manager.
Good morning. Natasha Colebrook-Williams, Deputy City Manager.
Good morning. Tamara Allen Frost, Director of Zoning and Zoning Administrator.
Hi, good morning. Munira Daniel, Assistant Director of the Finance Department.
Good morning. Erica Pascal-Darling, Finance Director.
Good morning. Maggie Goen. I'm the Director of Office of Management and Budget.
Good morning, Nassaline Hippolyte Francois, Director, Office of Equal Opportunity and Diversity Programs.
Good morning, Angela Roberts, Human Resources Director.
Good morning, Wade Sanders, Director of Solid Waste.
Good morning, Anne-Marie Sharp, Director of Risk Management.
Good morning, Trelana Haynes, Interim Director, Code Compliance.
Good morning, everyone. David Gilbert, Human Services Director.
Good morning, everyone. Yadisa Calderon, Assistant Director of Procurement.
Good morning, Victor Turner, Director of Housing and Community Development.
Good morning, Laclevia Morley Snipes, Assistant Director of Administration for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Good morning, everyone. Leon Michel, Assistant Director, Office of Management and Budget.
Greetings, folks. Dorian Gibson, OGA, Assistant Director.
Good morning. My name is Alicia Dyer. I am the Assistant Director of Operations for Parks and Recreation.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Evans, Director of the City of Miami Parks and Recreation Department.
Black excellence, everybody. Black excellence. But I tell you, no matter our color, no matter where we come from, we serve as a family. We serve just like I serve with my colleagues, Commissioner Damian Pardo, Commissioner Miguel Angel Gabela, Commissioner Joe Carollo, Commissioner Manolo Reyes. We all come from various walks of life, but together, we are excellence. Together, we serve our community, and we don't look at the color of our skin. We look at the quality of our work. And this is part of the City of Miami's team that provides excellence every day. That's our goal. Right, gentlemen?
Absolutely. I'm just echoing everything you have to say. I couldn't be prouder of the team we have in the City of Miami, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here and to recognize Black History Month. You know, in the City of Miami, it's very, very important that we recognize our diverse communities, and today is one more of those examples. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're a melting pot, proud to be among you ladies and gentlemen here serving, and we're going to try to the best we can for our residents. We're doing that now, so I'm honored to be among all of you. Like I said, we're a melting pot here in Miami. Very proud.
We are. Commissioner Reyes, would you like to say something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't know how proud I am to serve with such a group of so talented people. And the diversity that we have in the city of Miami, that we have, I think is an example for many of the municipalities and other governments. And we have to congratulate you and the rest of the commission for always trying to maintain diversity within the city of Miami, and we have to work very hard to keep it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Fewer steps you have to take. St. Albin. I remember St. Albin's.
That's great.
I did their contracts.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So, oh wait. So, yeah. So I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize St. Albin's Child Enrichment Center in Coconut Grove, and actually, Commissioner, in your district as well, in Alapata. They've impacted the lives of 15,000 children and families. They're very proud to provide programs like Early Head Start, and the pre-K programs. They are supported by Christ Episcopal Church, which is a cornerstone in Coconut Grove, and they provide a safe, nurturing, and inclusive environment. Over 10% of their students have disabilities, and they're incorporated into their programming. So I'd like to take this opportunity and ask them to come up and recognize St. Albin's Child Enrichment Center. There you are. By the way, if you've never been, please go. It's absolutely wonderful. I love going there, and I'm about due for another visit.
Thank you. We welcome you. Thank you so very much for this time to recognize St. Albin. If you can believe it, it is our 75th year.
7 decades.
75 years of serving the community, and we're very happy. Thank you.
It's just, we say that pretty easily, 7 decades, but think about that. 7 decades of service in this community, really. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing.
I had the honor of working with St. Albans when I was a Miami-Dade County employee with Community Action Agency. I did all of your contracts. I went over. I visited the site. They do wonderful work for children in our community. So congratulations. I'm proud to be up here, full circle moment, with an organization that I worked with a long time ago. Okay, I understand that we have our city choir here that's going to grace us with a song. Where you guys at? Come on up. Come on up.
Testing 1, 2.
How did I make it all these years? How did I make it this far? Through the valleys and over the hills, I know it had to be God. How did I make it through the storm? How did I make it through the rain? If you want to know just how I got here, it's so easy to explain. It was God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. God's grace. I made it this far. By the grace of God. God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far. By the grace of God. Lord, I thank you for how you brought me. How you brought me through the night. Lord, you kept me and you never left me. You stood by my side. There were so many times when I came so close. Oh man, death tried to take me in. So the reason I'm here is not hard for me to speak. In fact, it's so easy for me to explain. It was God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. I made it this far. Yes, I did. By the grace of God. I remember the times when I strayed away. Even though I knew the word, still I wouldn't obey. But God's mercy and His grace stayed with me It brought me all the way. It was God's grace. God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. I made it this far. Yes, I did. By the grace of God. Anybody want to know just how I got here? Anybody want to know how I'm still standing? I made it. It was by the grace of God. And Lord, I thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, I thank you. Thank you right now, Jesus. I made it. It was by the grace of God. When I sit down and look back, down through the years, I've had to shed so many tears, but I made it. By the grace of God, God's grace.
Right. No. Someone said commissioners have to sing now. No, we certainly couldn't follow that up. But we will now begin our meeting with Reverend Morales of New Covenant Presbyterian Church, who will grace us with prayer. And it just seems fitting after that beautiful song, God's Grace. Amen.
Kind of hard to follow that up. I don't intend to sing, but I would, first of all, let me just say good morning and thank you to all of you for allowing me the honor to lead you in prayer and reflection and meditation, to ask for God's wisdom, guidance, and discernment as you carry on with the work of tending to the needs of this city. So my prayer for all of you this morning is a personal paraphrase and adaptation of a prayer that is often attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, and I invite you to meditate on its words and hold them close to your heart. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the grief that is in our midst. Scripture reminds us, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And so we pray this morning that God may comfort the families of those who are mourning with peace. And I invite us collectively to hold space in our hearts for those who have gone before us, for their families, their friends, and their loved ones. May they find peace. Let us pray. Lord, make us an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us collectively sow love. Where there is injury, let us collectively seek pardon. Where there is doubt, let us collectively strengthen our faith. Where there is despair, let us be voices of hope. Where there is darkness, let us be agents of light. And where there is sadness, let us be conduits of joy. O Divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And so, Holy God, as your beloved children, our elected officials gather to tend to the needs and to the work of this amazing place we call home, I pray that you will grace each and every one of their hearts with mercy, with compassion, and most importantly, may you clothe them with love, that in all that they do, in word and deed, may it be done with the greatest measure of love. Grant that each leader and servant in this room would have eyes to see how our lives are all connected and how our common good is upheld when we listen and respond to those most vulnerable among us. May the voices of those most in need be heard. May the voice of the voiceless be elevated, and in doing so, may we put the needs of others above our own interest. Finally, O God, I pray for each leader in this room, that you might fill them with wisdom, strength, and courage to do what is good, what is just, what is merciful, and what is right for all our citizens. May this body strive to act with intentional and faithful love for the common good, and collectively, may we always strive to be good neighbors. These are my prayers to you, O God, but I also pray that you will hear the prayers that reside in the hearts of each member of this body. And most importantly, I lift prayers for those who might not have someone to pray for them this day. It is in your gracious and holy name that we pray this morning. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. That's not my chair. At this time, Pledge of Allegiance. I forgot. I'm in such a space. I'm like, we're having such a beautiful meeting. I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Pardo. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, our city attorney will read his statement for the record.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair. George Wysong, City Attorney. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of this City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. The meeting of the Miami City Commission is a limited public forum. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 10:15 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. Any person making offensive remarks or who becomes unruly in the City Commission chambers will be barred from further attending City Commission meetings and may be subject to arrest. No clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks shall be permitted. No signs or placards shall be allowed in the Commission chambers. Persons exiting the Commission chambers shall do so quietly. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided here live at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item to be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114, parentheses 4C, Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, Commissioners have generally been briefed by City staff and the City Attorney's Office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. Planning and zoning items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 Zoning Ordinance. Parties for any planning and zoning items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, appellee, may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the City Clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida Statute Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 Zoning Ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Pursuant to Advisory Legal Opinion AGO 2020-03 issued on March 19, 2020, the Attorney General opined that, consistent with prior Attorney General opinions, a member of the local governing body who is physically unable to attend a meeting because of medical treatment or due to medical reasons can participate and vote in meetings where a quorum of the other members is physically present. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The procedures for individuals to be providing testimony with sworn for planning and zoning items and any requests or special items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of City staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are hearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or request additional items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting?
Yes.
Chair, may I administer the oath?
Please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, good morning. If you are speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, the PZ items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager? Do you have any items from this agenda that will be withdrawn or deferred?
Boy, do I. I need to make sure everybody, I'm going to go slow because there's a lot of items here, and make sure you have a lot of ink in your pen here because we're making a lot of changes to the agenda. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. PH 5 to be deferred to April 10th. PH 10 to be deferred to March 13th. RE 1 to be withdrawn. RE 3 to be indefinitely deferred. FR1 to be withdrawn. FR2 to be indefinitely deferred. AC1 to be withdrawn. AC2 to be withdrawn. PZ1 to be deferred to March 13th. PZ3 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ4 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ5 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ6 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ9 to be deferred to April 24th. PZ10 to be withdrawn as per the applicant's request. PZ11 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ12 to also be withdrawn per the applicant's request. That concludes the items.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. I'm going to ask my colleagues. Commissioner Pardo, do you have any items?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Gabella?
I've got a pocket item later on to announce two people for the Bayfront.
So we want to announce the pocket item.
I'll announce the pocket item now. Commissioner Gabella has a pocket item regarding the Bayfront Park Management Trust. Commissioner Gabella will be appointing Horacio Stewart Aguirre and Ana Matos to the two at-large seats currently held by Dr. Jorge Suarez Menendez and Mary Lugo, whose terms have both expired.
Okay. And Commissioner Reyes, do you have any items that you would like to withdraw or defer?
No, ma'am. No, they have been deferred by the administration.
Okay.
And my apologies, Chair, I just need to read a brief statement into the record. Pursuant to Section 62-62, 62-22 of the City Code, an indefinitely deferred action initiated by the City will cost the City mail, noticing, advertising, and posting of properties as applicable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to allow staff to remove the keyboard before I open public comment.
That was great. You guys were awesome.
At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on behalf of any of the items before us, please come to the lecterns, the podiums. Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning, Commissioner, perhaps. Oh, okay, I'm on. Thank you. Thank you so much. Elvis Cruz, 631 Northeast 57th Street here on PH4, Watson Island Park. Watson Island was given to the city of Miami, a gift from the state of Florida in 1919 to be used as a public park. Here you see the 1975 Miami Zoning Atlas, Watson Park, Parks and Recreation. It should never have been leased. That was a big mistake, leasing away land for money, especially when it's a park, especially when it's a waterfront park. It should never have been on the ballot. There was a $500,000 deceptive ad campaign. Here's one of the signs. Vote yes for Watson Island Park. It doesn't mention that by voting yes, you would actually be selling away land that was supposed to be a public park in perpetuity. Notice the drawing. It doesn't show the 400-foot tall high-rise condos that the land is being sold in order to allow. Two wrongs don't make a right. Parks are priceless. We need more, not less. I would ask you to vote down this awful situation. Similarly, here's a 1925 Miami plat map. And you can clearly see the land above the city cemetery, City Park. That is today's Biscayne Park. It has been a city park
for over a century. Please keep it as a city park. There are forces at play that want to turn it into school property. The land across the street used to have a public school, Miramar Elementary. But after it was demolished, the land was sold. So please, keep Biscayne Park as a city park, and if the schools want to build a school, let them buy their own land. We pay a lot of city taxes for schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Christina Bamud. I live at 5990 Northeast 5th Avenue in Palm Grove. I'm here to advocate for PZ7 that's been deferred a couple of times already, and it would be very good for me, my family, and our community if this board decided to approve this ordinance. This is important to my family. As you know, the rents in Miami are really unaffordable for people who have mid-range types of careers. And I have such a daughter, and she has a son, and she cannot afford to stay in Miami unless we do something about the rents and the costs of property. So this would help. I live in an area where we could accommodate an ADU for her. She works for a nonprofit. She's exactly the type of person that you really want to attract and for them to stay in this community. She contributes in so many ways, including by providing educational services to middle schoolers in the city of Miami. It's also really good public policy to encourage people to make good use of their land so that families can live comfortably and together and stay here. So I urge you to pass it, and to pass it without any further delays. And I thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Steve Warnick. I live at 2501 Swanson Avenue, Coconut Grove. I am here today speaking in support of PZ7. I'll echo the comments of the prior speaker relating to ADUs. This won't necessarily solve our housing crisis, but this is a very positive step in the right direction. It's an incremental change that we've been studying in the planning community and here at the city for several years, well thought out. I would make one suggestion. I noticed that there's a minimum lot size for a second story on ADUs of 10,000 square feet. Most lots are less than that. You may want to look at lowering that threshold just because that would allow people to preserve more of the open space in their yards by having a second story. Principal buildings are already allowed second story in T3. So just one suggestion, but it's a great effort, great legislation. Appreciate you, Chairwoman, for sponsoring this. And also on PZ3 and 4, which I know are deferred, we appreciate your support and look forward to the community workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Brenda Betancourt, 1436 South 6th Street, in support of PC7. And I hope that this time we can actually do something very important. And every single one of you, especially Commissioner Gabela, King, and Carollo, and Reyes, has property owners who are having issues keeping the property. And this will give them the opportunity to legally create a unit to have the option of have one family members to live with them. We all know that the rent is not going to go low as much as we wish. So we need to be conscious about it. Plus, we have a lot of seniors in our areas. They need the help from the family members. So I think it's very important for us, Commissioner Gabela, we talked about this before, that is people in our areas, that they need this second income. And not just second income, but sometimes seniors need an assistance from their children. So I think it will be great. I hope that you guys pass it. At the same time, I want to keep advocating for all of those who have Airbnb next door. Please, we hear this all more often, especially in buildings are more complicated. But we need to make sure we protect everybody. Whoever purchases a property, is a condo, a house, we don't want to have people just rolling down with luggages every day and we don't know who they are. So in that case, Please think about it, look at the Miami 21 ordinance and see how can we help those ones in need. About parks, we need parks. Remember the promise that it was made to the citizens when we give away Middle Ridge Park. We give away Middle Ridge, and you, as the commissioner who was there, say that we were going to replace it. We're still waiting. And I'm going to remind something fast. $400 million for the sump pump in Brico. They're still not done.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak?
Is this on? Is there sound on this? Oh, no.
Sound, yes. How are you today?
Listen, it's getting to be a nice thing here, coming up to the city commission and get to speak. And now, at this particular juncture, as far as what's going on in the Grove, I think it's more pertinent that I make my voice heard on what we can do in the West Grove. I think now is the time. There's some things happening, like with the laundry property sold, and it's going to be 5-story. And now I'm getting all kinds of calls for people to relocate. And coming into West Grove, it looks like it'd be a natural at this particular juncture. And so I'm supporting what we're doing in the Grove now. It's fantastic. I'm appreciative of all the restaurants that are now high-end restaurants coming into the Grove and seeking spots. They're pushing out some of our restaurants, but it's looking very nice. We've got a great thing going on as far as Coconut Grove. We had a great art festival this year. It was fantastic. Of course, the weather didn't hurt much, so we had a good time there. And Miss Gibson is always, we have the same couturier also that we dressed this morning. It's nice though. Manolo, I get to wave. We're doing pretty well. We're number 3.
Listen, it's nice to see you all fighting like always for Coconut Grove. So nice. So nice to see you.
Now listen, cut off that meter. No, I'm not going to stay up here much longer. But I do want to encourage or help or offer my assistance wherever I can do in the West Grove. I've retired a little bit from the Coconut Grove Arts Festival, so now I'm kind of doing my thing in West Grove. And we have a nice little office at 3644, and it's nice. We can have little meetings there and all. And I would encourage you to maybe come by. We have lunch. Miguel, you'd like it over there. It's nice. Enjoy it. And of course, Damien, you're going to be down at West Grove having a little thing. And I would really encourage our commission now to really look at the West Grove and the nice projects that are coming down the line. I know I've spoken to some of you regarding projects, and 3710 is a nice project coming along. So I would look forward to meeting with you or having lunch and discussing what we can do in the West Grove and what I can do to help out to facilitate this. So I always love what the reception I get here at the city commission. I think it's one of the only city commissions you'll ever find in the country where you get this kind of reception and it's open dialogue. And I always want to tell you how much I appreciate it. And even though I've been around quite a bit as a restaurateur and all, now I'm trying to do some things in the West Grove and make that part of my legacy. I made an interview years ago in the 70s
on what we could do in the West Grove, and make it one grove, no east or west. And I think that's opportunity is coming, and I want to be part of it if I possibly can. So I think Miss Gibson's going to come up, and she was on our board for so many years at the Coconut Grove Arts Festival. I think she was 30-some years. But anyway, once again, thanks. I appreciate it. Look forward to working with everybody. I've enjoyed it. I want to continue enjoying it. Thank you. Want to use my card?
No. Let me say good morning. Let me say good morning to everybody. You know, I always have to ask the clerk for a couple of moments of personal privilege because I always go over time. But I have to get up here and tell you, the Chairperson King, and to our newest commissioner that I have not met, Commissioner Cabela, welcome to City Hall. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And of course, my own commissioner, who I have met, but I haven't been down here since he's been here. And of course, my friend over there in the corner hiding, Commissioner Reyes. I have you on my prayer list, you know. So, but I have to always take this moment to say thank you to the clerk and his staff, to our manager and his staff, and of course, the attorneys and everybody who take care of our city. And I always have to say good morning to the congregation who's sitting out here, the audience. I call them a congregation, you know. That's the Episcopal Church in me. But you know, I always come before this commission to ask for something special. And this is really special for us, the 3710 Grand Avenue project. Oh, I moved it. Oh, sorry. This 3710 project that we want to do in Coconut Grove. These young people have been working on this. And this 98-year-old woman just decides that, you know, you have to always say something in favor of these projects in our community. Because I watched him tear down apartment building after apartment building. And people have had to go all the way down to Florida City and Homestead to find housing. And we want to be able to bring these people back to Coconut Grove, to Little Bahamas in Coconut Grove. And I think that all of you will agree with me that this is the best project that you've heard about in a long time. We're going to have people that have affordable housing, they're going to buy their homes, and there's just so much. Excuse me, say one thing. Somehow I move the microphone and they always bring it back to me. But we just want everybody to know it's important that we have this. And our commissioner needs to spend most of his money that he's getting from here on this project. So we're hoping that you'll allow him to do that. Commissioner Reyes, I know you hear me. I don't know where Commissioner Carollo is, but I also have him on my prayer list. You don't have to have everybody know that Commissioner Carollo was the mayor back in 1997 when he decided that I should be the person to serve as interim on this commission. And not only that, I had to have a majority vote. Everybody had to vote for me. And that was because Commissioner Carollo, the mayor then, he was mayor of the city then. And so I was able to serve those 4 months and know what you're going through up here. So I just thank you for all that you're able to do for us in the Little Bahamas. And ask that you approve this project that's coming before you. And I'm not going to take any more time to try to explain the project because it doesn't have. And we just like to say thank you in advance. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thelma, thank you for your service, and God bless you.
Beg your pardon?
He said, thank you for your service and God bless. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Reynold Martin, 3325 Percival Avenue, Coconut Grove. I'm the chair of Grace, Grove Rights and Community Equity, and a vice president of HODA in the West Grove. And I've had a chance to hear the presentation by the proponents of Grove Landing, and we are excited. We wish there was more time to evaluate this, but we are excited. This is something that is very great that's coming to our community. We would love for you to slow down a little bit, but in the meantime, I want to hear more. I want to work with these group of people to see if we can do something very nice in the Grove to bring back the community that I was raised in. I thank you if you consider this, and we welcome the opportunity to work with this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Marlene Barton, Thelma Gibson Health Initiative, 3640 Grand Avenue. By God's grace and Mrs. Gibson's blessings, I have been able to work for the residents of West Coconut Grove for over 35 years in affordable housing, business development, and social services. Today I'm here, and I thank you. First, let me thank you, Commissioner Pardo, and thank you for reviewing the project. Mr. Martin, yes, there's more to come. But I ask everyone to please, commissioners, to support this project. This may be the last time that residents of West Coconut Grove will be able to stay and live in Coconut Grove and come back to Coconut Grove. As you can imagine, in over 35 years, some of our younger students who went away to study and have graduated in whatever area would love to come back to the Grove. This project has been, the partners in this project did a lot of soul searching. How could they help our community maintain some of our residents and bring them back in housing? They can't afford the rents that are out there right now. So Commissioner Pardo, for the first time, 63 of these 70 proposed units at 3710 Grand Landing, 63, which is 90%, will be affordable. Of that 63, I'm not too good at math, but 65% will be eventual home ownership for our people, for people like me to be able to enjoy later years in life as a resident and the Bahamian culture and all of the things that come with that, the beauty, be able to live in a community with some peace of mind and comfort. I could go on, but I urge you all, Commissioner Reyes, you're in my prayers too, please support Commissioner Pardo's initiative, support this development. I thank you all. You've always supported us, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. How are you? I'm Carolyn Donaldson. I am the vice chair for Grace, but I'm also the finance officer for Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church, which is the oldest black church in Miami-Dade County. And I just wanted to express our support for PH 11 this morning. However, I do want to acknowledge that the short 72-hour notice that we received was not ample time for us to fully engage our board nor the church community. But our support comes with the understanding that the goal of providing affordable housing in West Grove certainly aligns with our vision and our mission, both for the church community and as well as Grace's support in the community. Certainly the goals of a nonprofit to come in and share this vision with us is quite encouraging for the community. However, at the same time, I feel that it is essential that we ensure the community's voice is central in this process, and that our support does not negate or bypass the need to fully engage the community in the negotiation of community benefits. A CBA is critical to this process, but I think the community should definitely have a voice and ensure that their input shapes the future of this project and any affordable housing projects going forward. Good morning. And
Good
thank
morning,
you.
and thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak? Good morning.
Sorry. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Darlene Fajardo, resident at 3720 Kumquat Avenue. I've lived in the Grove for over 25 years, and I work at an architecture firm locally here in the city of Miami, and I wanted to speak in favor of PH 11. I agree with the words of my prior constituents that it's a great effort. I really want to commend Commissioner Pardo and the city of Miami for taking the time and mobilizing in times recently to unify the Grove East and West and to make sure that there's a continuity of the commercial corridors. I also wanted to, my only recommendation would be not only about giving better notice, but also make a condition not only for affordable housing, for home ownership programs, but also to honor the Bahamian culture and kind of just reinforce what Appendix A already says to protect, the Bahamian Caribbean style, and make sure that you incorporate that and enforce that if you guys do extend the loan to the developers, just to make sure that we do preserve the historic nature of this entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Jihad S. Rashid. I reside at 3629 Grand Avenue. In regards to PH 11, that project has been presented. It contains a lot of great aspirational aspects of it. One part of it that I want to encourage is the proper, thorough community engagement. And we have to take note of those who are supportive of the project should be people who vote and live in District 2. A lot of times we have a lot of advocacy for those for certain projects, but it's necessary, very necessary, to engage the project. And since we're dealing with public monies and we're dealing with a waiver of notice and participation and issues of transfer of land and profits, requires more transparency and more discussion. The project, I am very impressed with the aspirational aspects of it, but the devil is in the details. And we have to do our due diligence, and a lot of us in this room have labored, have our adult lives. I have myself for over 35, 40 years. So anything that presents itself as something good for maintaining the tenure and the handle of the legacy residents is very important, but we should not take shortcuts, and we should have the proper engagement in the proper way for this thing. So I will ask you to defer it, and with the stipulation that they get with the proper things. And mindful, the preeminent agencies, organizations in this community have not passed any resolutions, even though it's been said this has been support of it, but not according to their bylaws. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak for public comment? Good morning, ma'am.
Hello. My name is Claudia Domo. I'm here representing Biscayne Beach condominiums. I don't know what the topic is right now, but I came here to speak regarding the hours of operation for the development next door, Villa Miami. They're starting construction at 6 a.m. I don't know if that's why they're doing that, but we can't even sit outside and drink a cup of coffee before the sun comes out.
I'm going to direct you to our code department. That issue is not on our agenda, but I can have someone from code speak to you and you can address that with them, share your concerns, and they can tell you what can be done to alleviate that issue.
Yeah, we're going to have ASOL
ASOL
spend some
speak
time
to
with you.
our
It's a noise waiver issue, so for construction, so that's
Okay,
ACE
great.
handles
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak for public comment? Seeing none, I am going to close the public comment period. And I understand that there's a presentation from the communications department. After the communications, I will take because he stepped away, Todd.
We lost quorum, so we're
It's
going
a presentation.
Okay.
I don't need quorum for the presentation. While they set up, may I have a motion to set the agenda?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
The agenda has been set. Good morning, Madam Communications Director.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
How are
Good morning.
you?
Good.
You may begin with your presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a presentation put on by my team at the Office of Communications together with my colleague, Angela Roberts from HR, who's going to join me. So we compiled a video of 40 testimonials of how wonderful, me being a longtime city employee, along with my colleague, Angela, we wanted to share with the rest of the world what it's like to work, live and play in the city of Miami. And we want our team to continue to grow. So here is a video showing precisely how we feel. The city of Miami is more than just a workplace. It's a place where individuals can make a real impact. To attract top talent and highlight the heart of our organization, we have developed a recruitment campaign showcasing the stories of our employees across all departments. The recruitment campaign features over 40 employees from diverse backgrounds sharing their personal experiences of working for the city of Miami. It provides an inside look at the challenges, rewards, and unique opportunities of serving our community. Our aim as a city is to inspire prospective candidates by demonstrating the city's commitment to professional growth and a supportive work environment. It also reinforces our dedication to valuing and investing in our employees. We invite visitors to explore career opportunities and hear inspiring stories on our website. We encourage engagement through our social media platforms and Miami TV to stay connected and informed. Pending approval, this human resources campaign will be featured on the City of Miami's website and shared across digital platforms to maximize reach and impact.
I think it's a perfect place for growth. If you put a lot of effort, if you spend your time and improve yourself, you can do it. It doesn't matter what is your background, it's a good point to start, and that's why I would like to be here many years more.
When I chose to be a police officer, my dream was to be in the city that I loved.
I wish I was here 20 years ago. I've had great directors and administrators. I've grown. I've been promoted. I've made a difference for the city of Miami in terms of service for our community. And that means a lot to me. And I love serving. And when you serve, you can't go wrong.
When you come in, you're working for a family. And then every time you come in, it's something different. And it's rewarding at the same time because you're always helping those that are in need.
The best job that you could have, get to change neighborhoods and impact the communities that mean something to you.
I started in the city of Miami in 1999. I had my bachelor's in business administration and I ended up getting my master's in human resources. Because I didn't really have any experience at the time in human resources, I kind of had to go backwards to get ahead. The city of Miami had a temp position in human resources in the recruitment section. So I applied for that position and I got it. And I was a temp 4 months and then ended up being promoted to a permanent position. Biggest thing I love, my people. I love when I can help people. I can investigate something and find out that something is wrong and I can fix it. I also love when I learn something new. Working for the city, you have the stability to be able to take care of your family. Good benefits, increases quite often. Lots of promotional opportunity. Those are the assets of working in the city.
Want to make a difference? Apply now. Explore the diverse career opportunities we offer. City of Miami, the place to thrive.
Very good.
I just want to take a second and thank you guys for all your social media content. You're always out there taking great shots, getting all of us to say our two bits, our words for all the residents, and you really do an amazing job. You have the right temperament, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for showing the rest of Miami-Dade County that the city of Miami is a place to work. It's going to be a great place to work.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I may, Madam Chair, I just want to commend both Kenya and her staff, obviously, and Angela, because one of the things that we've talked about, repeatedly in the conversations we've had internally is, from a recruitment perspective, the city is and has continued to be really a place where people can spend their entire careers doing good service, right? And we have such a diversity of jobs and opportunities that you almost have places and opportunities professionally that really align with a lot of people's interests and skill sets and career backgrounds. So, we want to make sure that we're pushing that out there because in the end, we talked about it earlier when we were talking about that senior leadership staff as a recognition to Black History Month. Those are all really talented people that, and you referenced it. It's not about color. It's not about background. It's not about gender. It's really, really about talent and getting the best people to come and work for the city because that, in essence, elevates our performance. And so this is a little tool and another piece of it. So I really want to commend them for the work they did.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to take up the pocket item first. Is there any discussion or are we ready to move on? Pocket item 1. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have our CA items. Gentlemen, are there any items, CA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, that you would like to pull for discussion?
I'm good.
I'm good.
No? Commissioner Reyes, you're good?
I'm good, and I'm moving it.
May I have a motion to approve CA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
So moved.
Move it.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Of the PH items, are there any items that you would like to pull for discussion? We have PH 1, PH 4, PH 6, PH 7, PH 8, PH 9, PH 11, and
Sorry, can you?
from the PH items, do you have any item from the PH items that you would like to pull for discussion?
Madam
Commissioner Reyes?
Chair?
Uh-huh.
Yes. I have to, we have to, in my, FR4, RE4, before the PH, in order to be able to.
Right. So you want to discuss RE4 first?
Well, that's right. I respectfully request that we take RE4 and then we take the PH.
Okay, yeah, no, I have to. I have to take RE4 before we can address PH 2 or 3.
Sure.
Sorry, before PH 8 and PH 7.
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Wait a minute. You know what? I put it with the page number and not the item. Todd knows what I'm talking about. It's PH 7 and 8, right?
Yes, ma'am.
RE4
That's right.
has to
So
go.
it'll be RE4, PH8, then PH7.
Right. Okay. So are there any other items on the PH items that you would like to pull for discussion?
No, ma'am.
No.
What are we pulling? Which one?
We have to take RE.
No, I heard that. But are we pulling anything?
No, they said no.
Okay, no, I'm good.
Well, I do have one comment for PH 11, Commissioner Pardo. There was some folks that came up and said that they wanted more community input. I just want to know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it for a lot of different reasons, but this also still has to go to the loan committee, and it has more discussion around it. But I'm fine with it. And unfortunately, also a couple of the organizations sued the city of Miami, and it's prevented us from having a presence there and doing some of that, kind of work. So I understand why they would say that, but we're going to make sure that we have a healthy discussion and we go back out on these issues and do some more forums in the community.
There was an amendment to PH 11. Did that get introduced by any chance? Because I stepped away.
So, yes, before we get to the vote, all that will be stated on the record.
Okay, just want to make sure you had it.
I'm trying to make sure what we have in play. And Chair, if you don't mind, I was just going to read what we have in play other than PH 7 and 8, which will be in outside of a block vote. So I have in play PH 1, PH 2, which is to be amended to add the city manager's memo as an exhibit, PH 3, PH 4, PH 6, which is to be amended pursuant to a substitution memo dated February 26, 2025, PH 9, and PH 11. PH 11 to be amended pursuant to a substitution memo dated February 26, 2025. That's what I have in play for the PHs.
Correct. Okay. May I have
motion?
Second.
And a second. So I have a motion and a second for PH 1, PH 2 as amended, PH 3, PH 4, PH 6 as amended, PH 9, PH 11 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Now, we only have two RE items, RE2 and RE4. Would you like to pull any of these items for discussion?
No.
Commissioner Reyes?
No.
May I have a motion for RE2 and RE4?
And I apologize, Chair. Mr. City Attorney, are you comfortable with the block vote on RE4? Or does RE4 need to be voted on individually?
RE4, no, I'm comfortable with the block voting. It's just that RE4 had to, as you indicated, be done before PH 7 and 8.
Understood. I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
Motion.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion for PH 7 and PH 8?
Motion.
Wait a minute. Does it have to go
Second.
individually?
That's fine. As long as they're voted together, that's fine.
And understood.
Well, actually, no.
Individually?
I'm sorry. Let's do PH 8 first and then PH 7.
Okay.
Yes.
May I have a motion for PH 8?
Move it.
Motion.
Move it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion for PH 7?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
That's all the.
Gentlemen, we are now down to our first reading items. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read for the record the titles of our first reading items for consideration?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Okay, read the titles for the record.
FR1 was withdrawn. FR2 was indefinitely deferred. FR3 is an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Administration, Mayor, and City Commission, by creating Section 2-40, providing for a requirement that current and future elected officials must disclose any sealed or expunged arrests, with the details of such arrests containing a severability clause providing for an immediate effective date. FR4, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Administration, Mayor, and City Commission, by creating Section 2-41, providing for a requirement that current and future elected officials, senior staff, must disclose any sealed or expunged arrest with details of said arrests, and further providing that all future employees in an elected official's office must consent to and undergo a level 2 background check and drug test prior to an offer of employment, containing a severability clause providing for an immediate effective date. That's the end of the FRs.
Thank you. Because the sponsor of the item is not here, I would request that we defer these items until later in the meeting, because I understand the sponsor will be here shortly.
Or you could just table. We'll table it.
We'll table it. Just table it.
Table it for later on, correct?
Yes. And let's go to, we have no second readings?
No second readings, Madam Chair.
All right, let's go to our planning and zoning items because those are few and far between. Could you read the titles for the record of the PZ items that are still in play?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Which is only one, I think.
PZ.
Two. There are two of them.
7 and 8, yeah.
PZ2.
PZ2 is a resolution which doesn't need to be read, but I also want to say on PZ2 that there's a Jennings disclosure by Commissioner Reyes. So we have a Jennings disclosure for PZ2, which is a resolution. Then PZ7 is a first reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended Miami 21 Code by amending Article 1 titled Definitions to update the definitions of ancillary dwelling units and related structures by amending Article 3 titled General to Zones to introduce ancillary dwelling unit regulations and design standards by amending Article 4 titled Standards and Tables to clarify the transect zones and residential types that allow for ancillary dwelling units, to clarify parking requirements, and to update related illustrations by amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones to clarify building disposition and building configuration standards, and to update related illustrations pertaining to ancillary dwelling units and other related structures by amending Article 6 titled Supplemental Regulations to update ancillary dwelling unit minimum and maximum unit sizes and applicable waiver processes by amending Appendix A titled Neighborhood Conservation District, Section A.2 titled Village West Island District and Charles Avenue NCD 2, and Section 8.3 titled Coconut Grove Neighborhood Conservation District NCD 3 to clarify regulations pertaining to ancillary dwelling units and related structures, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ8, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by amending Article 5 titled Specific to Zones to allow increased height for solid wooden fences in the first layer for properties in the T3 suburban transect zone, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. Then PZ 13.
PZ 13 is just a resolution?
PZ 13 is a resolution, but I did want to mention that we have another Jennings disclosure for the District 4 Commissioner, Manolo Reyes. And that concludes the PZ items.
Before we take up the PZ items, I'd like to defer PZ 13. I have an issue with the 3 to 5 a.m., moving from 3 to 5 a.m. I believe that will set a precedent. Aside from my traditional upbringing, I don't understand why we need to drink until 5 a.m. alcohol. There are some other issues I have with this, so I would like to defer it.
So motion to defer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll defer it to the next commission meeting, which is March 13th. By then, I should maybe have all of my questions answered. March 13th. So, did I take the vote?
I'm ready for a motion.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Well, does anybody have a problem with 8, with PCA? No? Nobody has a problem? Okay.
8, yeah.
Yeah. But the sponsor of PZ8 is
It's not here.
So
Right.
I would ask that we take that up when he arrives. So at play is PZ7. Does anyone have any?
And PZ2.
PZ2, I'm going upward. PZ7.
Motion.
Can I have a motion for PZ7?
Second.
I have a motion for PZ7. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion for PZ2?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So does that take care of all the PZ items? 2, 7, deferred. Yes?
Other than PZ8.
Oh, PZ8 that we'll come back to. Okay. Hold on 1 second. PZ8. Okay.
This is the one, the fencing that the zoning board had requested
Yes.
denial.
Okay, so that leaves us with
And Madam Chair, the two attorney-client sessions were withdrawn,
Withdrawn,
but I
yeah.
have a new script for the March 13th, so I can fill
you
some
pushed
time.
it to March 13th?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Why would you do that?
So, the outside counsel wasn't ready, so we had to move it to the 13th for them to be ready.
I understand.
But I have a new script. I just
Please
wanna-
go ahead and read your script.
Thank you. Madam Chairwoman and members of the Commission, pursuant to the provisions of Section 286.011, parentheses 8, Florida statutes, I am requesting that at the City Commission meeting of March 13, 2025, an attorney-client session closed to the public be held for purposes of discussing the pending litigation in the matter of William O. Fuller, Martin Pinilla II, the Barlington Group, LLC, Calle Ocho Marketplace, LLC, Yo Amo Calle Siete, LLC, Little Havana Arts Building, LLC, Little Havana Arts Building 2, LLC, Tower Hotel, LLC, Brickell Station, LLC, Piedra Villas, LLC, Futurama, LLC, El Shopping, LLC, Beatstick, LLC, Viernes Culturales / Cultural Fridays, Inc., Little Havana Bungalows, LLC, and LHAB Trust, LLC versus City of Miami. Joe Carollo in his individual capacity, Arthur Noriega in his individual capacity, Victoria Mendez in her individual capacity, Rachel Dooley in her individual capacity, ACL Marrero in his individual capacity, Dan S. Goldberg in his individual capacity, William Ortiz in his individual capacity, Luis Torres in his individual capacity, Adrian Placencia in his individual capacity, Rene Diaz in his individual capacity, Yvonne Bayona in her individual capacity, John Doe's 1 through 20, case number 23 CV 24251 RAR, pending in the United States District Court, Southern District of Florida, to which the city is presently a party. The subject of the meeting will be confined to settlement negotiations or strategy sessions related to litigation expenditures. The private meeting will begin at approximately 10 a.m. or as soon thereafter as the commissioner's schedules permit and conclude approximately 1 hour later. The session will be attended by the members of the City Commission, which include Chairwoman Christine King, Commissioners Miguel Angel Gabella, Damian Pardo, and Manolo Reyes, the Chief Financial Officer Larry M. Spring Jr., City Attorney George K. Weissong III, Chief Deputy City Attorney John Greco, Deputy City Attorney Kevin R. Jones, Assistant City Attorney Supervisor Eric Eves, Assistant City Attorney and Margaret Snyder, and outside counsel Raquel A. Rodriguez Esquire, Angel Cortinez Esquire, and Jonathan Casco Esquire. A certified court reporter will be present to ensure that the session is fully transcribed and the transcript will be made public upon the conclusion of the litigation. At the conclusion of the attorney-client session, the regular commission meeting will be reopened and the person chairing the commission meeting will announce the termination of the attorney-client session. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. And now, if we can have discussion item 5, city's future bonding capacity.
Yep. Larry?
Mr. Spring?
Chief Financial Officer?
Mr. Spring? There's a discussion item on regarding the city's future bonding capacity.
During the budget meetings, we talked a little bit about the capacity for bonding in the city and some of the urgent needs we have. And given that long list of projects that were showing up, especially in the area of infrastructure and affordable housing, I was wondering if you could discuss our bonding capacity while still keeping our credit rating and the fact that we should move on that and maybe start setting up a plan so that we can come back to commission with let's use our capacity and fund our projects as soon as we can when we have it available.
So through the chair, Larry Spring, Chief Financial Officer. Yes, all of you will recall that I have been kind of speaking about some analysis I've been doing with regards to us doing another phase of the general obligation bond, the Miami Forever bond, based on some preliminary calculations I've done with our financial advisors, and I'll send out today, share it with you all. If we still have about $441 million in capacity if we stay below the existing 0.5935 limited ad valorem millage cap that we currently have in place. I also had them run some other scenarios. I had them go all the way up to 0.75 mils. And what I wanted to do for each of you is translate that millage to what does that mean for a the average homesteaded property owner. So I can say, oh, that would be another $12 a month or whatever that is. So we'll work on that as well. But that, if we go up to 0.75, and this is the global number right now, and we actually did a pretty thorough look at, current interest rates, the whole thing, that capacity would provide us with another, it's about 659 million more that we could do right now. And it's something that I think would be advisable. So I thank you for the conversation, because I think OCI and Juvenal and his team have been meeting with you about where we are with the projects, and we're at a point where costs have gone up and we need some additional funding to finish what we've already started. But then there's still all the other needs. Each of you have been coming, I want to do this project, I want to add this. So this would be a very opportune time. The only thing with the GOB is timing wise, that's an election, and I'm very sensitive to elections for your part, because I don't want to have that referendum anywhere near our general election, our general election. On the special obligation side, which is a revenue bond, we haven't looked at that in a while, because when we did the administration building financing with the Oracle, which was just under 300 million, we kind of took it up to the cap. Again, none of this this would not affect our bond rating. In fact, this would maintain our bond rating. It'd be
what is our bond rating now, Larry?
I'd have to get the last rating, but it was like a double A plus. But when we issue the debt, we usually buy insurance so that the bond that goes out is a triple rated instrument that is being sold on the market. So, and if you've seen, since I've been back, we only had one kind of shaky bond deal, if I'd call it, probably the worst I've had. But that's a relative term. When we did the administration building, we were selling 300 million and we got 1.5 billion in orders. So that's an indication that, people still love the Miami name. It's a great brand on the market still. And then, we got a very high rating on that bond. So.
And when you think about climate and resiliency and the fact that only 10% of our stormwater master plan is funded, I mean, we might as well, if we have it available, it's not going to impact our credit rating. We should take it and take it now before costs keep going up.
I agree.
So I'll send
time wounds all deals.
Yes, it does.
Time wounds all
So I'm going to send you all that this afternoon. I'll send you right now the calculation we did.
When do you think we can come back with something more structured?
I mean, what I would like to do is send that out to you each, have individual meetings with you, and kind of talk about what you think you would want to see project-wise, so we can figure out what categories we want to put it in, and kind of break it up, and then present it. I can do that in in less than in a month's time.
Last question from me. On the so it equals $12 monthly.
No. I gave that as an example.
Okay, homesteaders. But that was homesteaders, right?
Say it again.
That was only homesteaders.
That would be, yes. I focus.
The other guys are
it's not commercial. And I probably shouldn't say this in public, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I focus on the homesteaded property owner as a gauge, because those are the people that would actually vote for the bond itself. So that would be the population that would be coming out to either support it or deny it. So that's why I focus on that, not because I don't appreciate our commercial landholders. Actually, They treat us very well.
Thank
So in
you.
other words,
Thank you very much.
Larry,
Yes, sir.
yeah, the burden of paying those bonds is going to be on the homesteaded properties.
Correct. Well, and the commercial as well, but the burden of the vote, yeah, would certainly be on them.
Okay.
Thank you. Discussion item 4, labor conditions in South Florida construction industry. We had representatives from the organization come and speak. I'm going to ask to withdraw this item from the agenda. Todd, do I need a vote for that? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And the reason I'm withdrawing it is because I do believe that we spoke about it. And if we can collectively, when we have projects coming up, because we can't mandate developers to take into consideration heat as a benefit to, providing for heat exposure and that kind of thing. We can't mandate that because we're preempted by the state. But when you have developments coming up, you have a big development coming up, you have a development coming up, if we could just maybe negotiate with them to consider, because it's hot. It is very hot.
It is.
And working in construction, it has to be miserable. So there should be some consideration taken into account that I think for the first time last year, we had heat advisories for our community. And that's what this item was. So thank you, and for your consideration. DI3, lost income to the city with vote for solution. Whose item is that?
That is Commissioner Corrales.
Yeah, Madam Chair, DI2 and DI3 are both District 3 items, and he's not here. So.
Okay, so we will table those. 2025 agenda deadlines.
Yeah, I'll just be brief. This is more for me to sort of recap and remind the commission as it relates to agenda items. Back in 2020, the commission passed a resolution allowing for a 7-day advance notice or a submittal for new agenda items, noon, 7 business days ahead of a commission meeting. I just want to reiterate that because we kind of, the agenda office has a very limited amount of time to finalize the agenda. We get a lot of last minute items that get thrown into the mix. So if we can, sort of reinforce that reso in terms of the timeliness of when agenda items are submitted, because there are days that night of the 7th day ahead of, I'm getting text to approve items at midnight. We've had those days, right? So, and look, it happens, and there are items that definitely need that have a sense of urgency. You also have the provision within the code, which still does allow for pocket items if we have an emergency item as well, which would certainly allow the commission and our electeds to put legislation forward if we did indeed have an emergency item that needed to be addressed. So I just wanted to kind of reinforce the timing and the deadline. Did I miss anything?
I would like to echo that. As the chair, the pocket items come before me. I'm very strict about if there is not a time sensitivity, because pocket items don't give the community an opportunity to review the item. It just comes before them. With what the manager is asking for our consideration, I agree. We should not be putting agenda items, giving them the day of print at 4:30. It's not fair to the staff. It's not fair to the city attorney's office to review the items. So I would impose the same consideration. If it is not time sensitive, I would not accept them. You have to go through the process. That's why we have a process, and that's why we are able to vet the city attorney's office, whichever department falls under. So if it is not time sensitive and you haven't allowed for the 7-day rule for the staff to prepare it, I would say do not accept it. Do not accept it. It's not fair to staff. It's up to us to plan properly for our work. And the difference between one commission meeting and another commission meeting, it could be diligence on staff. So guys, if we can adhere to the policy, let's do so. And I would ask the manager and the city attorney's office to hold us to the fire. If it is not time sensitive, it doesn't go. If you haven't allotted the amount of time required per policy.
Chairwoman.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. I agree with what you're saying, Chairwoman. The policy has always been that pocket items are supposed to be true emergency items. So I agree with the Chairwoman. If it's not a true emergency item, it should not be placed in the agenda. It should be placed on the following meeting. Having said that, do we have any true emergency items that were not in the agenda that we originally had?
We only had one pocket item, and there was a time sensitivity for that, for board considerations and budget deadlines, et cetera, et cetera. So that one went, and we have pretty much concluded the agenda with the exception of your items. We left those for you. PZ8 is the only PZ item. We can go backwards. We didn't want to take any items that
I
you
appreciate
sponsored.
it. So the rest of the agenda has been done.
Yes.
Congratulations. Went quick this morning.
It did.
I would imagine we didn't have too many people that came to speak today.
No, we didn't have, but we had a spirit-filled meeting with our Black History program.
I heard that.
Yes.
Thank you for providing that for us. I'm sorry I was not able to be here for it. Chairwoman, I've been hearing in the last year here so much the word transparency. Well, I want to help everybody be transparent. And this is why I placed both of these items in ordinance. I had asked the city attorney's office to prepare them as best as they thought that they could be prepared at the time that they were prepared. And one of them is a very simple ordinance that I think in any American city there'd be no problems in approving it. Maybe Miami's different. I don't know. And that is that if there's anyone that's an elected official, and mind you, we're not saying that this is a requirement that they have to do it before they file. We're saying that if you are an elected official now, sitting up here now, or an elected official in the future, and you have a sealed law enforcement record, that it should be declared by the individuals with certain information so that there could be full transparency. Now, the difference between sealed and not sealed, that when records are not sealed, whether someone has been convicted or not convicted, arrested falsely, they're out in the open. There's transparency that anybody could look at them and talk about them. Like you've seen here, little Billy come numerous times talking about me, like the Political Action Committee that Mr. Pardo opened up, attacks me on a weekly basis with the name of the Political Action Committee. I'm glad that they're at least abiding by the law on that one, with the same thing. But again, what we're talking here are sealed records. I would think that that transparency should be out there for the public. That's one ordinance. The other one is a very similar ordinance for senior staff members of elected officials, that if they have any seal records, the same thing shall apply to them. And the addition that all future employees of any elected official of this city would have a full police background check done and a drug test. Approximately 2 years ago, on my behalf and request, we went ahead and started implementing background check on employees of city elected officials, something that was not being done before. However, that could be changed overnight if there's not an ordinance in place for that. And we still anything that provides for drug testing for the senior staff members and other employees of elected officials. And that's the second ordinance. And I'm not going to get into much more. And Chairwoman, this is very simple. Two ordinance that could be agreed upon or not agreed upon. I would make a motion. If there's no second, that's the end of it. And that's the way democracy is.
I have a motion.
The motion.
Do I have a second? I have a motion. I don't have a second. This is for FR 3 and
Yes.
4.
Correct. Can we do them together, or they have to be separate?
You can do them together. We read the titles into the record already.
All right.
So that's for FR 3 and FR 4. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Items fail for no second.
All right. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Would you like to take up PZ 8?
If, for any reason, we have any elected official up here that, or senior staff member of any elected official that would have a sealed record, that would like to be fully transparent and disclose it, they're certainly open to it. No one's holding you back. Thank you.
Can I comment on this? I'd like to make a brief comment.
Absolutely.
It boggles the mind, me especially, and I don't know if you guys are, Commissioner Reyes or Commissioner Pardo. I'm reminded last year, you, Commissioner Carollo, you were nominating somebody to be a director in Bayfront Trust Park. And when you were going to nominate that person, somebody came to me before coming over here that day and gave me a document on the gentleman that I did not want to use because I'm not into that. I don't like the character assassinate up here. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not into that. And I said to that person, no, thank you. I'm not that, and I'm not going to do that. But you knew that that person had a problem, and yet you appointed him to the Bayfront Trust, which is fine by me. You voted for it. I think you voted for it also. And then all of a sudden this year, that same person you have a problem with, okay, and you fired that person, and now all of a sudden you want to bring. Let me finish, sir.
Commissioner, please allow him to speak without
didn't
interruption. Please. Thank you.
You're going to get your chance. And so you weren't interested then. All of a sudden now, this year, a year later, after you fired the gentleman, by the way, you knew of the gentleman's problems because you had him as your chief of staff. And by doing this, I don't want to mention names because I am not up here to demean the gentleman's character, okay? There's no necessary for that kind of thing, but I'm just saying what is the record. You brought it up here, and we voted for the gentleman. The gentleman was your director in Bayfront Trust, and then you and the director apparently had a problem. I don't know, I wasn't there, but I'm just saying you had a problem. Now the gentleman has turned against you, and he's got a lawsuit against the city of Miami and against you. And all of a sudden, then you bring this up. So you weren't interested a year ago in this kind of thing, but all of a sudden, now you are. I wonder, and I'm just scared, whether you're trying to now assassinate this gentleman's character by bringing this up, because it seems to me, that you're bringing this up for a reason, and I got no problem with this, but here's the problem. Number one, I've been advised, and we all have, I think, by George Washington, that the expunge record thing, this is a thing that's against, you can't do it because you can't trump state law, and it is state law after all. So even if we did pass it, it wouldn't work. We can't implement it. There'll be lawsuits left and right, which I, for one, am trying to keep the city out of lawsuits because I think we've had many lawsuits in the past with a certain commissioner. I don't think we need any more. So my point is, when you bring this up, again, I say, what happened last year that you weren't interested in this kind of stuff, and now this year, all of a sudden, you're interested in all this transparency and all this stuff. It just seems odd to me anyway, and I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
If I may briefly answer, Chair.
Yes, although I want to point out, because I see Todd looking at us, and we had a motion, we had discussion, the motion failed, so it's not on the table. I see him looking at me. I'm going to allow, because I allowed Commissioner Gabella to speak, so I will allow for the rebuttal, and I didn't want to cut him off, but I knew in the moment that there needed no further discussion because we didn't take up the item. It failed. But go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Number one, the individual that you are talking about never had a sealed record. His record was not sealed. What we're talking about here is sealed record. The individual that you're talking about did not have a conviction or minor misdemeanor, even though if I would have seen the police report on that misdemeanor, how it happened and so on, I would have had probably a difference of opinion, like after I've seen it now. So one thing has got nothing to do with the other. This gentleman did not have a sealed record, but there are some in this building that do have sealed records, and they're the ones that want to be more pious than pious, talk about transparency all the time, but boy, they don't want to divulge it. They want to pretend that they're marching with the saints. So I'll leave it at that, Commissioner.
But Commissioner, the whole point is that if there was a record, you voted for him anyway. What's the point if there would have been? I don't understand.
If I may recognize you through the chair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Can I be recognized through the chair?
Through the chair.
So I could go back again, right? Chair?
Very simple.
It's going to be the last one, Commissioner Gabella, and then you can respond, because there is no item before us. There's no need for us to be talking about this because the item failed. I do not like when we get into these personality back and forth.
You know what? You're right. I feel love today from the choir that was here. And, I feel love today. So, you know what? You're right. Let's leave it there. I apologize.
Let's move on. So, PZ8, Commissioner, that's your item. Commissioner Groves.
Yes, ma'am. This is an ordinance to change one part of Miami 21 that frankly needs so much changing. And this is probably one of the reasons that everything in the city of Miami takes forever compared to other cities to get through the building department and permit it. But before Miami 21, people that wanted privacy for their home, for their front yards, were allowed to go up to 6 feet with a fence. Now with Miami 21, you could only go up 2 feet and the remaining 6 feet, you have to be able to see through. That doesn't even make sense because most homes that put the new fence under Miami 21, then they'll put hedges and bushes, either behind it or in front, or both behind and front, to block the view. So this is to allow property owners to have the freedom of their privacy. They could choose it. They don't have to choose it. If they want privacy, to allow property owners to have that freedom in doing that, so that if they want their privacy, they don't have to plant hedges afterwards to get it. As simple as that. And again, it could be voted up or down. I will make the motion. I would gather there will be no second, and we can move on.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Seeing no second, the motion fails. The only items left on the agenda are discussion item 2 and discussion item 3.
On both of them, if we could defer them for the next meeting.
Okay. May I have a motion to defer discussion item 2 and discussion item 3? They were his items. We pushed them. Deferring them.
Yes.
Until which meeting?
To the March 13th meeting.
March 13th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, everyone, for attending the City of Miami Commission meeting for February 27, for February 27th, 2025. This meeting is now adjourned, and we have
Softball.
we have the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting. Gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to take that up right now. Thank you guys for coming. It's always a pleasure to see you, Monty and Ms. Gibson.
I just need 60 seconds to flip the tape.
60 seconds to flip the tape.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Commissioner Reyes?
Yes, I want to congratulate you with the professionalism that you have shown the meeting and the rest.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're doing a hell of a good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And we are proud with you.
Thank you. Ms. Gibson, so good to see you. Know, anytime you come, you could speak for as long as you want to. When you get to your age, I will never stop you from speaking. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your service. How are you? Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
You did a good job of speaking.
They're coming. Ready? Good to go? Okay. At this time, I would like to begin the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting with Executive Director James D. McQueen and Deputy Director Vincent T. Brown. Gentlemen.
Take care of money.
dance with that choir.
Mr. McQueen.
Good morning. Let me first say happy, what month is this? And I would like to say to Commissioner Carollo that although I did not prepare them, because my deputies took over my spot and he said he does the ribs better than I, so he prepared the ribs for today's.
He's a smarter guy than you are.
Well, that's a fact.
He finally figured it out, you know, and he figured, you know.
We have 4 items for today. What? And Mr. Brown will read them into the record.
The first item, excuse me, the resolution with attachments ratifying and authorizing executive director to execute a temporary access and hold harmless agreement between the city and the CRA for use of property at 1611 Northwest 3rd Avenue. The second item is a resolution with attachments authorizing executive director to disperse funds in the amount not to exceed $61,259 to underwrite the costs associated with the production of sepia vernacular Overtown photographic journey from 1920 to 1950 to be exhibited at the Lawson E. Thomas Building. Item number 3 is a resolution retroactively approving the executive director to accept donations in the amount of $48,250 from various community partners for the annual historic Overtown holiday tree lighting ceremony and the annual historic Overtown holiday toy giveaway. Item number 4, which will be amended to reflect the amount of the grant, a resolution with attachments by 4/5 vote ratifying, approving, and confirming executive director's recommendation and finding that competitive negotiation methods and procedures are not practical or advantageous, waiving the requirements for competitive sealed bidding, and further approving a grant request in the amount of $600,000. In the body of the item, it says $500,000, but it's actually $600,000 to support human resources of Miami in reducing blight and improving the physical environment of the redevelopment area.
At this time, I will open the floor for public comment. Seeing none for public comment, the public comment period is closed. Gentlemen, are there any items on this agenda that you would like to pull for discussion?
No.
Seeing none, may I have a motion for RE 1, 2, 3, and 4?
So moved.
Move it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. This concludes the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting for February 27, 2025. Lunch in my office.